everybody, and welcome to the show. We are very happy to have you here today. Of course, this is Bugbear's Basement as usual, and I am Chester C. Busby III, your host. And we are continuing the Gehenna Rising story of our Vampire the Masquerade overall campaign of Boston by Night. We're very happy to have you guys in here, of course, as usual, as we are every day. Do us a favor, please, and of course, hit that like button and subscribe, but really hit that share button. We are a live stream after all. But we're going to get into that in a minute. But I want to come over here and say hello to our players here and see how they're feeling today. So, how's it going there, Bob?
It's going good, man. Ready to play. Let's get this going.
All right, awesome. How about you, Dinale?
I'm doing fine. I'm just a little bit tired, but I'm curious to see what you're gonna cook up for today's session.
Well, I'm trying not to go too far out the box. I mean, this is a live stream, so I'm kind of being I don't know, generic in a way.
Okay.
But I think it's all good. And Mox was here. Is Mox still? Oh, there he is. Hi, Mox. How's it going, dude?
Pretty good, Chester. How are you?
I'm great, man. And yeah, Bob always throws me off because his icon always shows it as black, so I can never see that he's here half the time. But anyway, make sure you there he goes. He's got his character sheet up. That helps. But keep in mind, guys, make sure you got your teal dice up or whatever a way of rolling your 10-siders you have, because I think we're gonna have a little bit of action today. Maybe. Once again, guys, this is Vampire the Masquerade. It's a bit different than, say, D&D. D&D is a very formulaic thing, right? I mean, you're sitting down, you go to the bar, you get your adventure, you go out and kill a certain number of goblins, you get your gold, you come back, get your experience. It's a, video games and D&D go hand in hand in that way. Vampire is a little bit different. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You don't necessarily have to go into combat, although it seems that my team, who's not really adapted for combat, seem to enjoy running into it, though. So we'll see how that works out. But do keep in mind, players, that there is more than one way to go about something, particularly in this setting, because we are doing Gehenna Rising. And for those of you who are new and don't know what this is, in the Vampire the Masquerade game, which came out in the early 90s, beautiful system, very interesting new system it introduced as far as role playing, tabletop role playing. But the story behind it is really the best part of it, and they did a really good job. It was quite genius the way they adapted their world into our world into Vampire. And one of the things that it always talked about, and at the very end they did, but I wasn't running games at that time, was the coming apocalypse or a Gehenna or whatever the various different book systems, whether it be Wraith or Vampire, Werewolf, or Mage, Demon, what have you, the end of the world. And I never ran one of those, so I wanted to run one of those. So that's what's going on here. We have the antediluvians of the past. They are the third generation of vampires. They are returning to the world as they do during a cycle. They have like this 2200-year cycle, which is the beginning of each new age. And of course, we're coming up on the age of Aquarius here, and they're kind of going to be doing what they do into the age of Aquarius over the next 100 years or so. And what they do is they come out and they kill every vampire, and they take its blood and store it. And they kill about half the population usually. And they do this to simply cull and maintain the planet, but also to maintain themselves, because they live not here on Earth. They live in the deep Umbra. Now, the Umbra would be a dimensional realm, heaven, limbo, whatever you want to call it. But the Umbra is this extended dimensional space inside this world. Instead of there being seven heavens or different actual dimensional frequencies, there's one, and it has various depths to it. So they're basically just setting up their new 2,000 years of blood source, and that's what they're starting to do. Now, our guys here were set in Boston, which is a major loci, which is an energy point on the planet that Tzimisce himself is trying to take. Now, Tzimisce is one of the antediluvian forefathers. And he is all about body modification, sadomasochism, just the worst of the worst. If you ever seen Event Horizon or the Ghost of Mars or something like that, it certainly goes in line with what Samitsi is. So these guys have basically taken a Plan B, a side mission. The Camarilla, who is the leader of the masquerade, which is to keep the vampires safe from this overabundance of humans, right? They have their main plan, and that plan is to shunt the loci, because what the antediluvian do is they create like these gateways so they can travel between the deep umbra and Earth quite easily, and they'll take all their blood sources that they're gathering and transport back and forth and such. So what they're trying to do is keep this highway away from them. That's their main goal here, and they're working on that all over the world. And the one prince here, Lucius, that is here in Boston. He's a fourth generation. He saw the last culling happen, and he doesn't want it to happen again. So he's very involved. He had suggested that they go and try to wake Cain, and the Camarilla didn't care for that option. They were like, no, we're going to do this, and we're going to pull our resources here. But he found these guys, and they can't really help so much with the other things. So why not let them try to do Plan B? And so far, they have completed 20% of the mission. They went to the Temple of Earth, and they were able to bring back one of the keys, and the keys turned out to be some kind of Cro-Magnon or Neanderthal type of girl. And they have come back into Boston with the girl so they could get the Magi to do some kind of spell so they could communicate with her, because they don't speak the same language, and to find out exactly how it is she's the key or whatever they know some information. So they're back here in Boston. The problem is Boston is a little bit under siege by Sabbat. Now, the Sabbat are kind of like these apocalyptic type vampires, is the easiest way to put it. And they were able to get back into the Chantry, but not necessarily so easily. And last we left them, the Magi were getting ready to go into the Umbra and to shunt this loci. And they were helping out a little bit as we sat inside the Chantry. So we're going to have to see how things go. Let me go over here and share this screen real quick. All right. And then I'm going to bring up this. So where am I going to start here? All right, there we go. All right. Sorry about that cascade, guys. But all right, so I'm sharing screen with you guys, and I'm sharing screen with the chat. So here we are, Boston by Night. I'm going to jump over to the other side so I can control the slideshow. But all right, guys. So we're sitting in the Chantry, and let me show that real quick. Hold on. Come on now. There we go. All right. We're sitting in the Chantry here, and it's, of course, nighttime, not daytime. I just thought this was a really good choice of a building for our Chantry. The Chantry, of course, is the headquarters and bastion of the Magi here in Boston. And, of course, the Magi do control Boston, unlike in most cities, vampires control it. But they're working together with the vampires to deal with this worldwide threat, of course. So you guys are sitting in here, and you have your key of Earth with you. This lovely lady here, and it's chaos inside there, guys. There's everyone's getting ready to go on this mission to go shunt the loci. Magus is involved as well as everybody else. But you guys are sitting in the Chantry, and there is a lower level mage who is trying to help you get some kind of polyglot spell on this girl so you can communicate with her. Now, it's quite chaotic. There's a lot of craziness going on in the city. Is there anything you want to do, say, or what have you? Let's start with Zero Plague.
I think we did a good job of pretty much setting up everything that we needed to get going. We established our link with the NOSnet.
Mm-hmm.
We got all the intel we could about the area in Africa where we're going to. I think that's the Temple of Water. Is that correct?
The Congo is the Temple of Water. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, we got everything we could on that, which wasn't very much. I can't remember. I can't remember if Dinale was. I think you were researching something, weren't you, Dinale?
I was trying to research if there was any more information that I could glean in what the trial could be for the Congo last time, and I was asking the
Okay.
prince to see if I could see the original text and see if I could see if
Right.
there's another meeting. But
Yeah, because I know
that's
we
where we
did.
kind of looked.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know we did. We need some intel, and we knew that like all the local tribes, like this place is like anathema to them. They just avoid it like the plague. So, and
In the
I
Congo,
think,
yeah.
yeah, the one in the Congo is like, yeah, it's like nobody goes there. And I can't remember. I think that was it. I think we pretty much had everything ready to go.
You had gleaned a little bit of that information. Like I said, we're sitting in the open hall of the Chantry right now. There's a lot of vampire and magi moving about because they're literally just about to enter into the Umbra. And they're going to what they're going to try to do is because this loci is extremely important. It's one of the top 3 loci on the planet, actually, here in
Mhm.
Boston. And what they're going to try to do is go into the Umbra and shunt the loci off of out of phase, therefore making it useless for the antediluvians to use it as a highway back to the deep Umbra. Now, of course, this is going to affect them as well. It's going to throw chaos to the magical weave here in the area. It's going to cause a lot of trouble. But you're assuming that they're shunting it in a way that they might be able to unshunt it. You're not sure, but they're just trying to take away the easy means of travel to the antediluvian because going on one with them is a ridiculously stupid thing to do. You can't defeat them. Even a fourth generation, Ventru like Lucius is not going to stand a chance against them, right? Because you got to
Yeah.
understand this culling has happened many times. So these antediluvians are far older. Even though they're third generation, they're far much older and more powerful than a fourth generation. There's literally, 20,000 years between them, right?
Mhm.
So it's a very difficult thing. So their option is to take away their ability to move freely, and use that as yeah, they're kind of doing like the Americans did in the Revolutionary War when dealing with a superior British military, right? They kind of
Yeah.
taken that approach.
Um, One thing I did want to do is I wanted to approach Laura and talk to her about possibly setting up a fallback point should this become impossible for us to come back here.
Okay. Laura is here. She is actually helping with everything, but she's going to be the one that's going to be in charge of the Chantry when her father, the Magus, heads into the Deep Umbra. Now, the prince himself is not leaving. He's staying here to defend the Chantry, but the Magus, of course, is going in with a large team, mixed team actually, of Magus, Magi, as well as Vampire. But Laura is in charge of the Magi stuff while her dad's going to be gone. So you're chatting with her.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So you're going to be in charge of things here, so I can take it that means you're not going with us.
She's no, I have many responsibilities, of course.
Hmm. You're gonna send somebody and somebody with us to act as our liaison then?
To the Congo?
No, yeah. When we leave here, because I'm trying to figure out a way, because considering all the trouble we had getting back here, and not to mention all the communication problems that we're having,
Hmm.
I'm trying to figure something out that we can fall back on if things really go south.
Well,
Because it sounds to me like they're really going to start focusing hard on this city, and I don't think coming back here is going to be a good idea.
well, she says that she knows that the prince has put Delilah as your contact.
Mhm.
Of course, you being vampire and I being magi, we don't have a lot of crossover in our infrastructure. Of course, we are working together now because we need to. But I would rely on Delilah, she says.
Okay, I'm just look. I'm a tech guy. I don't know much about magic, and it looks like a lot of magic is coming down on this, and that technology is going to start becoming unreliable. So do you guys have some form of communication that you guys do that might be able to cut through this? Or
Um, she says that they do, but you have no ability to use their tech, though. Well, it's not really tech, but
that's right.
you don't have
That's
the
why
ability. Yeah.
that's why I'm saying, and maybe you should send one of your people to act as a liaison with us,
Hmm.
because it's looking like one of the things that they're trying to do really, like one of the, like, obviously anytime you have an attack like this, one of the first things they try to do is they cut out communication. So if you guys have some way that we could keep our communication lines open without them completely screwing us, that's going to help.
Well, she says I can send an assistant with you, a low level. We can't spare any actual mage, but
Yeah,
we could certainly send a neophyte with you if that's what you want. They're not going to be very useful to you in any kind of combat situation. But if you want someone simply to allow a magical channel of communication, she can do that.
that's 100% what I want. I'm not looking for somebody to. We got all the bodies that we need to throw at something if that's the case.
All right. So you guys go through that conversation, and she assigns you Jeffrey. So write it down in your character sheet. You have a
I
considered a henchman.
I hate him already. All
I'm
right,
sure you will.
Joffrey. Okay.
And yeah, Joffrey. No, I said Jeffrey. I did say Jeffrey, the American accent.
Okay.
But Jeffrey is a neophyte. He's a hard worker. He doesn't know a lot of magic yet, but he certainly can do communicative type of telepathic type magic. He can do that. So.
Awesome.
Right, but
Okay.
but what you do is just on your underneath your backgrounds, you put down write down the word henchman or minion. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. Whatever word you like, and just put one dot.
Gotcha.
And then in your information space on the back of your character sheet, write down Jeffrey, neophyte mage capable of telepathic communications.
Gotcha. Okay, and I will introduce him to Dinale since Dinale knows more about the magic stuff than I do.
Sure.
And I'll tell him this is Jeffrey. He's our new mage cell phone in case we need some communication help if things go, our tech fails. So you guys should get to know each other.
All right.
All right, sounds good.
Jeffrey, mage cell phone.
Now, Mox, you are sitting quietly or standing quietly as usually you do. You're not a big talker. But Rhaegar comes over and starts talking to you, Sienna. And Rhaegar comes up and he says to you, because the others are busy doing the things they're doing, and he says that there is a problem in the underway. I need to go and find out what's going on. I've lost communication to the hub. And he's just telling you that he's heading off is all.
I asked him, does he mind company?
He said I would move much quicker myself.
As you wish.
All right. So Rhaegar takes off, and you can let the guys know or not. It's up to you. But anyway, the chaos of this room is starting to focus, and you notice that in the kind of back courtyard, because you guys know that the Chantry building, although a beautiful building unto itself, is actually much bigger on the inside than the outside. Typical Magi type of stuff, but inside here, there's like this giant courtyard, and in the center of the courtyard, a magical gateway opens up, and you see a lot of vampires and mages basically grabbing gear and starting to walk through the gate. You see the prince is talking to the magus, and they're having some kind of conversation. It doesn't look to be the happiest of conversations, but utilitarian. These guys don't want to work together at all. You guys know that that Laura has interacted with you pretty nicely. She's not necessarily loves vampires, but she's a nice person. and she has no problem communicating and being a liaison to you. The magus here, or the mage, he has very little love for any vampires actually, but he's doing what he has to do because the apocalypse is upon us. And after that conversation, he goes into the gate, and shortly after the gate shuts. As soon as this happens, however, interesting things start to happen. In particular, I think it's going to bring us over to Zero Plague. Now, Zero, I know that you're not sitting in your home base right now, but I'm assuming you have tablets or you have gear on you, and I'm assuming you have all kind of safety measures and virus wall blockers and all kind of things like that, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I've
They
got
start going off like crazy.
one of everything.
They got,
Okay,
yeah, I'm assuming you did. But they start going off like crazy. Your tablet just lights up. What do you want to do?
okay. I'm gonna pull it out and see what's going on. Are we getting is it an attack or is it just a flow of information coming?
Someone is trying to take over the entire Boston grid.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, well,
the entire I'm sorry. Go ahead.
everything, the electrical infrastructure, the internet, everything in this local area, someone is attacking it. Now, what is your computer pips right now?
My computer is 5.
And your intelligence?
My intelligence is a 5.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
have a specialization in computer hacking, and I also have a special trait in the Boston Net.
All right, cool. Now, do keep in mind, guys, with those levels, he's one of the best computer people on the planet. Actually, you literally have to get supernatural to get beyond those levels. So, yeah, good. So, someone is trying to take over the grid in process. What do you want to do about it?
I'm going to launch a counter virus to at the very least slow them down.
All right, so you are opposing this action. All right, so go ahead and give me
Yes.
your give me a dice roll, please.
Okay.
Now, this person, you don't know who, but whoever is doing this is pretty good. So the difficulty is a little higher than normal.
Okay. Well, I got a pretty good roll here. See, a 6, 1, 2, 3, 4 8s, a 9, and 2 10s. And
Wow.
because of the specialization, the 2 10s are counted as 2 successes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 successes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Now, this is a little bit different than a normal roll. You've been seeing a lot of us do. They're just simply, can they do it, or can they make the shot, or what have you. This is an opposed roll because this is a live action that's happening between two people. So I'm going to make my roll as well. Hold on here. Oh yeah, not even close. Yeah, so you're able to keep them from just taking the entire grid immediately. Although you do notice a couple of things. The person that's doing this is calling themselves, or you have a feeling it's not a person. You think it's a team, but they're calling themselves Rafe 33. And you don't know if the 33 is representing how many people you're facing or not. But it's more than one, obviously, because you're having to work real hard to stay ahead of it. But with your skill level, you're able to. Now, even though you've kept them from taking the entire system, they're pressing the walls, and you're going to have to stay on top of it. So you're pretty busy. Matter of fact, you probably wish you were in front of an entire rig right now. And luckily, there is one sitting right over in the corner. You might want to go and try to commandeer that because it would
Yeah.
be easier than what you're dealing with. But nevertheless, there are a few systems that are not under your control, though. There's a certain section of lights in the city which have been shut down. There's a communication scramble in another section. There's a bunch of chaos, but they haven't been able to take the system. You have been able to block them. Now, while he is dealing with that, Sienna and Al, you see that a lot of the vampires are running around, and they're quickly. You don't know what's going on, but they're arming themselves with a bunch of weapons, and they're forming on a squad. And the prince is going over, and they seem to be heading out. Something is going on.
Hmm.
That seems to argue you to leave the city and head to the next destination. That's what I would say to
Okay. All right.
Plague and Sienna.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna like kind of throw my hand up. Just I'm a little busy here,
All right.
and I'm going. And you're right. I am going to head right to that rig, and I'm just going to start pulling up every freaking pack I can, just try and done, just nuke these people.
Sure. So you're involved in that action right now. The prince and his squad head out the front door, actually. And you see many other vampire squads gearing up, and the judges seem to be leading these groups. They don't head out yet, but they seem to be in reserve. They're preparing themselves. Now the neophyte Jeffrey that was attached to you. He's very gung ho. He's not particularly skilled, but he is with you guys and ready to help. And he actually has been working with to finish up with the mage who is putting a polyglot spell on the key. The Earth Key, and that has just been finished up, and the mage runs off to go do something, and Jeffrey is talking to her, actually.
I just kind of glance over real quick. Put a leash on that thing.
I do believe that was your cue, Al.
Put a leash on that thing.
No, me telling you that the key of Earth is now communicative.
All right, awesome. It's awesome, magic, wonderful thing. So Al's gonna go over to the Earth Key and talk to her and find out how she became what she became.
Go ahead.
So, hey, my name is Al. I'm introducing myself. Your name to start out.
She says, "Name. What is this? What do you mean, name?"
What are you called? What do other calls you?
I don't have I don't have a name. She says, "I don't have a
All right.
designation." Is the word she uses. It's the word that comes out anyway. Because you understand, her lips are moving, but the sound that's coming out now is distorted with a little, like a half second of echo, and it's coming out in English, right? So
Hmm.
she's not actually speaking English. The magic is just translating, right?
Right. Do you understand what has occurred to you in these recent few hours when we caught you out of that place where you were?
She says that all she knows is she was to serve the master, and they had the ceremony for her to serve the master and the masters. And then she woke up with you and that monster, and she doesn't seem to know anything else about the the time
Interim.
between
Oh, okay.
the interim.
Who are the masters? Do you know what they are called?
She will not name them by name. Why would you assume to actually call the masters by name? That's ridiculous.
So they do have names. Okay. Can you tell me what one the masters that you were doing the ceremony for looks like? Their appearance?
She says, "One does not look upon a god."
Okay. Um, let me see. I was thinking to figure out what else can be asked of her. Uh, you are. Go ahead.
I step in and ask her, can she tell us anything about the place we're going in the Congo?
She
The
doesn't
water
know
temple.
this. She doesn't know this place you're talking about.
Okay. Let's see. Well, we'll figure it out then. Um, we are. Al doesn't have any question at the moment.
Okay.
He's gonna have to. Yeah, there's nothing more Al's gonna ask for this time being.
Okay, Al,
Mhm.
real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt here, guys. You get a text.
Mhm.
It says, "Ask her about how she ended up in that thing."
I text back that I did ask her. She was sacrificed.
No, you didn't. You
You
didn't
said
ask her
she was
about the
right.
ceremony at all.
Okay. I will ask about the ceremony. What's going on with? Can you tell me about the ceremony? Looking
Uh,
at my phone.
Well, she actually seems a little happy because she's very dazed and confused, obviously.
Mhm.
But she's happy about this because this she can explain, and she
Mhm.
basically says that the ceremony was to make sure we keep the demon locked away because the demon will destroy all mankind, and we can't have that. The demon is very bad. I was created to be a key to block the demon and lock the demon down. I'm very proud, she says.
I see. And do you know where the other ceremonies took place,
No, she
or
doesn't.
just your own? Okay. So I kind of relayed that information to the others. Um, see what their thoughts are.
Hmm.
Hmm. Lots of dead air.
Well, everybody's
I'm,
thinking.
oh,
Plague is doing the defending on the rig. I'm not sure where the questioning is because even though she's can understand her words, there's words that can't be translated
Possibly.
for ceremony. Yeah, for ceremonies. Is there anything from the copy from the book that would help?
In
Um,
in what way?
to draw any clues and any information. I guess I would ask: would the demon be Cain? Is that who you guys locked away?
When you say that
That was
name,
locked
she
away.
immediately turns her gaze from you and she's terrified.
Okay,
clue.
Now, interesting
super
thing,
clue.
because you are hearing little teeny bits of echo, right?
Hmm.
And you can hear how it's being translated. Actually, it's very soft, but you're
Hmm.
hearing the translation to English and the translation to her whatever her language is. And
Hmm.
when you say Cain, it actually translates to Cain.
Cain. Okay,
You can hear it. It's very soft, but you can hear what's happening inside the magic, right?
right. Okay.
I asked the question of the group: do we need this girl alive now? What purpose does she serve now?
She's a key. She
Yeah,
has
I can't.
these
I'm sorry. I can't.
magical midi-chlorians in her bloodstream, right? Remember?
Oh God. I just kind of yell over my shoulder. It's like, we can't kill her unless we know that it works. So
Hey,
I
Right.
just
Bob,
worry.
if it's okay for Lucas, it's okay for me, brother.
it
I
wasn't
just
okay for
worry that
Lucas. Damn it.
No, it wasn't. But all right.
I'm sorry,
Any
man.
other
Go ahead.
questions for her?
No questions.
What are you gonna do with her?
Bring her along because she's a key,
Hmm.
and obviously if we find Cain, I'm kind of telling those to the guys, and she was created purposefully to lock him away, then we'll need her to unlock him away. She's going to be one of the four to unlock it.
All right. As you guys are doing what you're doing, and you're getting ready to head back out to the airport, I'm assuming, eventually
Mm-hmm.
to get on that plane and get over to the Africa. Zero is quite busy, and actually we've spanned about I don't know, say an hour and a half, 2 hours have gone by, and you guys are pretty much ready. You have everything you need, anything you want to collect, or any of that kind of stuff that's in the chantry. right? This is not outside the chantry; it's in the chantry. Everything you're ready to go. Plague is pretty much got the city locked down as far as literally having to lock it down, though, meaning no one is going to have any control over anything. So you're going to have to make decision, Plague, what is on, what is off, what have you, because otherwise, these guys are going to take this system. So you have to lock it. Is what you have to do.
Mhm.
But your role was high enough that you can successfully do what you want to do. So go ahead and make a decision on how Boston is going to operate with you gone.
Um,
Because
I'm
understand you
basically
have
gonna.
access to the electrical grid, the traffic signal
Mhm.
grids, the subway grids, all manner of stuff. The water management systems, all of that stuff is computerized, and you have access to all of it. And that's of course what they've been attacking, right?
Yeah. Um, I'm going to try and hand it off to the people who are going to be on site and say, listen, here's the codes for this. Here's how to access these things. Right now, I'm going to put everything into their emergency functions, and you know, it's going to be up to you guys to maintain it because I can't stay here.
Okay.
I'm going to put like basically everything's going to be going to like as if a natural disaster were occurring. So all I'm basically setting everything putting out all the alerts to God, I'm trying to remember the name of the organization that controls that stuff. Now they basically um man all no,
The
my brain doesn't want to work.
EPA. Let's
Yeah,
call
like
it the EPA. I
yeah.
think definitely we should let them be in charge because we know it is a true fact that they have no penis.
um
Sorry, but Ghostbusters joke.
but
Couldn't resist it.
yeah, I know.
You need to
Um
take and make sure that we have a clear path with everything we need out to the airport for the plane.
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, now
Um
yeah, now just let me give you a couple little bits of information. However, now you turning it over to a couple of the Ventru that are here is fine. They have computer guys. It's not a big deal. Although over the course of the past couple hours, two of the Just Guards have left the Chantry with their squads. By the way, just to let you know.
mhm.
But you do have people here that can do that. You know, it would be much better to let the Nosferatu handle this situation, but you can't communicate with them at all, dude. Matter of fact, it's not worldwide, but what did you call it, Denali?
Shreknet.
The ShrekNet, yeah. The
Yeah.
ShrekNet is down in Boston right
Shreknet.
now, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
down.
that's why I thought Dinale shared that with us, or I assumed he did. So that's
Yeah.
why I didn't immediately go to them because that didn't be my first call. I was like, okay, you guys are going to take care of all of this. Yeah, I'll basically turn those functions over to them. I will make sure that we have a clear path to back to our flying fortress and get that thing fueled and ready to go.
Yep, that's all done.
And yeah, just basically turn it. Just tell them to keep the emergency facilities going. You know, all the absolutely necessary functions. Call out the National Guard. Just like I said, just basically treat it like a natural disaster because
Yeah,
that's pretty
sure.
much what it is.
Now, while you're
But
doing that, two things happen. One of you, I'm assuming Sienna. Sienna seems to be the most observant of you. But you notice entering into the Chantry, obfuscated, by the way, which is a vampire discipline, is Rhagar. Rhagar is walking in, and you can tell because you guys have the pendants, so you can see these things without things cannot. You have true sight, basically. But Rhagar is coming in and he's barely keeping his obfuscation up, and he is damaged and his left arm is missing.
Hmm.
oh, geez, dude.
I asked Rhaegar what has happened.
Well, as he kind of collapses to his knees and his obfuscation goes off, he says, the underway is lost.
I tell everyone else it's time to go now, and I grab
Yeah.
Rhaegar and head for the vehicle for us to leave.
I'm gonna point at our maid's cell phone. It's like, you in the car now.
All right, so you guys are getting ready to get your stuff to go out of the chantry. Sienna, I'm assuming you're the one helping Rhaegar?
Yes.
Okay, because he's not in good shape. And actually, as you're kind of walking with him to get everybody out here and get to the vehicles, get to the airport, you notice that there's some weird black growth that is rapidly spreading across the left side of his body.
Mm.
Mainly, you're seeing
Uh,
his neck and the side of his face.
Does Al see that?
Yeah, sure. There's no reason for you not to.
All right. Could I use dermatology to figure out what that growth is?
Most certainly could.
Okay. I will roll. Let me see my dice. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For that. Okay. I got 7, 6, 10, 6, 5, 10, 9, 10, 2, 3.
Yeah, you know exactly what that is. That is a plague bloom.
Okay. With my, I know that the second level of what I have for my path is able to reduce and heal that. Can I do that with that or
Oh
not?
no. This is not an actual sickness. This is a magical spell that's going off. And you
All right.
know it's probably a matter of seconds. Matter of fact, the first thing that come to your mind would probably be to scream at Sienna to run away from him, to get your hands
Yeah.
off him.
So
Yeah.
So I definitely scream that out, and I call mobile phone to see if he can dispel that or find someone who can dispel that from Ragnar.
Mobile phone. Is that Zero Plague?
No,
No, he's
Jeffrey.
talking about our maid's cell phone. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeffrey.
Oh, Jeffrey. Jeffrey. Well, Laura is in the room. She's not
Well,
right next to you, but she is in the room, and she's in charge because her father went through the gate, right? The
right.
prince is not here. Two of the Justicars are not here. Laura is in charge of the chantry, of course, and the two Justicars are extremely powerful beings. But
Okay.
as you're doing that, and Sienna, I'm assuming you listen.
Yes, I do. And can I take any actions?
You can run away.
Yes. Can I use
Oh, you
my
could do something
celerity?
else. What would you like to do?
Use my celerity and run faster.
All right, yeah, no problem. You can get away from his immediate presence, and as you guys run, and of course, Denali Al has called this out, so people are paying attention. This is a highly active room, right? Rhaegar starts screaming, and his head implodes in a cloud of black miasma. As his body thuds to the ground, this miasma starts turning around and spinning and starts glowing. And it becomes larger. It's filling an area of about 20 foot diameter, I'd say, right now. What would you guys like to do?
Run away.
I'm throwing my celerity up and I'm running.
Where
Yeah,
are
we're
you running
gone.
to?
I'm running to the vehicles that we had waiting, and
All right.
if I necessary, I'll jump in the front seat.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys are heading for the door. You're heading out of the building, and the Justicar are getting into combat stances, it seems. Denali, your magic is understanding is certainly high enough to understand that this plague bomb is actually been twisted and it's actually a gateway. All right, but I'm assuming all you guys are heading for the door, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
As you guys hit the door and get out, of course, no one is in your way. Stepping out of this gateway into the middle, and of course, this courtyard erupts into combat. You seeing a flood of these things running out, these masochistically skin crafted and flesh crafted sabat start flooding out, and we're talking like. Well, you guys are running, you're getting out, but you see at least
Yeah.
100 flood into this room, and of course, stepping out of this miasma gate, behind them, you see this.
Oh, jeez.
Oh boy.
Yep, like I said, fallback position.
All right.
Hmm.
And these are the judges of Tzimisce. I'm taking a play on the Greek mythology here. You guys head outside. You're able to get to your vehicles without any problem, and you are heading out. Right, but
Right.
as you're doing and you're looking back, the Chantry house is literally you see smoke and fire coming out of windows, and you see some of the roofs start to crumble, and before the Chantry becomes completely out of view, you see a big chunk of the roof collapse. You don't know what's going on inside there, but it's surely not good.
Okay.
Yep.
Are we all in the same vehicle or?
You
Yep.
guys are in the same vehicle, and the assistants and various equipment that whatever you collected is in the vehicle behind you, and you guys are in formation heading to the airport.
Okay. I turn to Sienna and say, okay, this is your wheelhouse where we go from here until we hit that plane. It's on you. So, because I don't know how to fight. Okay.
Sure. All right.
So,
Now,
so lead on McDuff.
as you guys are heading along, driving along here, you're beelining to the airport. That's your goal, right? As you're
Yeah.
going along, this in the 2 hours that have passed, because you guys have been just inside the Chantry doing your thing, right? And the prince and all their stuff, they have their own organization. They're not talking to you or communicating with you at all. They're doing their thing, right? But the city is not in good shape, right? And you haven't had much access to the local. You haven't had any access to the local ShrekNet, and you've been busy trying to just keep the loss of the system completely. The news monitoring and stuff like that is hasn't been well, you guys at least didn't make it a frontal a point for you guys to be paying attention to. But there are fires. There are many things you see these things here flying around, many of them. Just kind of, some of them are just diving into sky rises. Other of them are eating people on the street. You see many Sabbat running around. You see teams of police, military, even in the occasional prince's troops engaging the Sabbat in battle. And as you're probably about 5 minutes out from the airport, you've actually kind of cleared the downtown area, and you're heading toward the airport. You guys actually also notice you see the prince off to the side with his group, and they're fighting some big ugly thing. It's kind of looks like this, but it's much larger. It's like a gargantuan size of this thing, basically. The city is not fallen technically, but it's probably close.
Oh boy. Not good.
Not good. Well, we know London has fallen. We know Rome has fallen.
Yeah,
You
so
haven't
much
heard
for
any
right.
news coming out of Constantinople, by the way. And I know it's Istanbul, but in the vampire game, no vampire calls it Istanbul. It's Constantinople. It is eternally that. Uh,
So,
but um,
so so much for this city not being able to fall.
well, you don't know if they'll be successful or not in what they're doing.
Yeah, well, that's actually my character saying that he's like just kind of like darkly musing about it because that was one of the things that they were saying is like, oh no, this is one of the most well defended cities in the entire world, and I was like, yeah, well, it's the end of the world.
It's true.
Is there a place you're driving?
Um,
No.
no, I said if I have to, I will jump in the front
Well,
seat, but
you have a driver. Of course, you
okay,
have a team around you. Delilah is not with you. She's back in the plane, of course. But you do have a team. You do have access to a team. Basically, you getting to the airport is not an issue, right? There's all
right,
kind of craziness going on, but you get to the airport, and you see that the team that's attached to this big old Hercules plane that you guys have been given. There are some dead vampires and some dead these kind of flesh crafted vampire beasts are lying dead on the tarmac as you guys pull up, but the plane is intact. you see that the team that's attached to you, they've had a little bit of casualty, but in general they've held their own pretty well here. And you guys get out, you drag along Jeffrey and the key, and you guys run onto the Hercules as the most of the team gets on the Hercules. A couple of them stay down on the ground because there's some creatures coming in, and they're kind of just keeping the door clear. You get on the plane, and the plane starts taking off. Delilah's like, "What the hell is going on?"
In a word, a shitstorm. Everything that could possibly go wrong has basically gone wrong. The Chantry has fallen. A bunch of our little Sabat friends came running in, along with I don't know what the hell those other three things were. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that.
Without know what those things were.
Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? I mean, let's just add them to the rest of the horrors.
Yeah.
You would recognize them simply as being the judges of Tzimitzi. They are the most loyal flesh crafting Sabat of Tzimitzi himself. Those guys are probably fourth or fifth generation, Tzimitzi vampires. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would relate that information. That's what those creatures that attack the Chantries.
Charming.
It's a big deal. Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
just one of those against a Justicar is probably a pretty fair fight.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. But anyway, so you guys, the plane is taking off. You can hear a little bit of chaos coming from the cockpit, but you hear the captain is screaming at someone on the radio. I don't care what you say. We're taking the hell off, and the plane lifts off the ground. Now, as you guys get into the air, and of course you're at some of the viewing windows where you can see on the outside to see what's going on. You see the city is far more aflame than it was when you just drove through it. And as you're in the air, in the general vicinity of the Chantry, of course you can't necessarily pick it out exactly here. There is a pulse that comes out. It is like a pale white blue light that pulses across the entire city. And it actually, in that pulse, all the lights go out in the city completely. The plane itself gets hit by the physical buffering of the pulse, as well as the EMP that seems to be attached to it. But this plane is protected, so you guys are able to handle it. It is a little rough ride for about 5 seconds, but the pilots are good at what they do, and they keep the plane in the air. But as that pulse dies, the fires, of course, we can still see the light from them. But in the general vicinity of the Chantry, you see a pale golden light coming out of the Chantry and shooting into the air. It's off to the right of the plane right now, as you guys are kind of banking out of the city. And that light flickers and then goes out.
Well, that sucks. What the hell? What the hell was that? What the hell happened to him? To Rhaegar? What? Seriously? What is all this crap?
He got infected with a magical spell that converted him into a gateway.
So they had a magical spell that turned him into a door.
Yep, and made him go googly blue.
Okay.
And anybody else
that.
anybody that touched him would turn into one too. Which is why
jeez.
I yelled for Sienna to get away.
So basically, we just let them walk right into the stronghold and take us out from inside.
Well, Rhaegar did. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So maybe we should. I look over at cell phone. So maybe you might want to relay that to your people and let them know that. Yeah. Don't let anybody like that in.
You mean Jeffrey? So we gotta be calling him cell phone from now on. All right.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's his nickname.
Okay, cell phone. Cell phone is not very happy. He's you usually speak to him. He does respond. He says there is no one to communicate to.
Well, not at that chantry, but maybe other cities around the world.
He says that if he gets within a vicinity of a mage, cell phone tower, he will let you know.
Outstanding. Uh, okay. Where's Cro-Magnon Shakira? Where'd she go?
She's sitting somewhere. She's kind of she was panicked in the beginning. She was combative, even to a point, but now she just kind of has this dull glaze over her eyes. You guys haven't cast any spell on her particularly. I mean, they put the polyglot spell on her, but she just seems to be in shock. You would say.
Oh my God, I'm so far out of my element here. I look over at like the other two, at Alan and Sienna. Is like, okay, guys, I'm not I'm gonna level with you. I'm floundering here, man. This is not what I do. I don't know
So
what to do about this. I don't know what to do about this place, man. I mean, you guys, you know how to fight. You know magic. If I'm not within 15 miles of a cell phone tower, I'm pretty useless. So tell me what we're gonna do here, man.
all right.
Stay
Well,
on mission.
yep. That's the only thing we can do because we're already started the games as they already judged us. If they really wanted to destroy us, they would have. So we are part of their games to see if we will break out Kane or not. That's the only way I can think of. We didn't see any attack on us when we were getting to the airplanes, and that light beam that shot near us earlier didn't do nothing to us. And I paused and I said, let's make sure there's nothing weird around as well. Hey, cell phone, can you check from your magic eyes to see if there's any magic residence around this that's odd by chance?
He says that because you guys are traveling up toward, you're doing kind of a northern loop over Nova Scotia, and you're going to come down to Europe in that way because you're going to make a couple of gasoline stops. Actually, no, you don't have to. They'll actually do an air fueling in this vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
But he says as they pass over, there are small little because that's his main thing. He's a magic sensitive, right? He just hasn't really learned many magic yet. But there are many, little pockets, little things. They're heading there. I mean, they're traveling over New England, obviously. But there's nothing really that stands out particularly. They're just kind of little communities or an individual. But he is, as the plane is traveling, he is feeling magic below him, but nothing particularly interesting or strong.
Okay.
Right. So that we don't have any tag alongs or anything that you can see.
No, he on this plane, no.
Okay.
So yeah, so getting back to what I was saying, the only thing we have to do, able to do, is get the other three keys, find Kane and unlock him, and see
Yeah.
if the prince was right to do so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this will be for naught.
Okay. Jeffrey does say something else, actually. Just I should add that caveat. He says, no, there's nothing on the plane other than him, and he points to Al.
Oh. All right. Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Well, it's a bit of
Hmm.
interesting information because it's not necessarily known to Al whether the Magi know he's magical or not, right?
Oh, okay.
But obviously they do.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So you guys are traveling in the plane. You're actually getting down toward coming down toward the top of Africa now. You've had one refueling, air refueling. This type of plane is built for that, so why wouldn't we? And that might have been interesting to watch. The only thing interesting in the flight was you guys came within it's nighttime, and of course the day is coming soon, so you guys are going to shut all the windows and lock this thing vampire tight. But before that happens, before the dawn cracks, off way in the distance, you do see England and London. In the very distant distance of the night, and it is just a bonfire.
Oh, jeez. Um. Yeah. So, you guys have any idea how you want to go into this thing? I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna. I'm looking at Santa. I'm assuming you're gonna carry every freaking weapon you could possibly find.
Hmm. Yeah, we
Uh,
definitely want to go loaded for bear if it's only the three of us and leave the girl here.
do we want to
And
leave her here though? Because what if we need her to open the? Well, if we need her to open the freaking thing, we'll just go back and get her, I guess, right?
do you want to drag a semi-magical human through here while we're fighting God knows what?
Who's in
No, I don't want
shock?
to do.
Who? Don't
Yeah,
forget the
who's
shock
yeah.
point.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know this magic stuff. What do you
Um,
think? What do you think, Al?
I wonder if it take a sample. I take a sample of her blood and see if there's any reaction to the temple when we get near it.
Okay.
And
Like I said, I'll defer to you on all this stuff, man, because
Right.
we're not in my this is not my milieu.
Well,
Right. So-
one thing that does happen though, Plague, is the fact that once you're outside of the local area of Boston, uh, there's occasional glitches. It's not perfect, but the ShrekNet is available to you internationally, as
Mhm.
well as the internet itself. And there's worldwide now. It's got to the point that it's quite obvious to all the press, even though they've done everything they can to. Sorry, the internet's not available. That has been shut down. I do apologize. I forgot about that. But
Right.
you have the ShrekNet available to you outside of Boston, of course, and they are relaying this information as far as what local news shows are talking about, et cetera, et cetera. This is quite obvious to the whole world that something really weird is going on, and in certain areas there it's not even hinted anymore. There's obviously some supernatural attack, and the word apocalypse is being thrown around quite regularly. It seems to be have gone worldwide, even though not every city in the world, of course, is under siege. No, obviously not. And you notice that actually one of the clean areas on the planet is Asia. There doesn't seem to be anything going on over there at all, and I do mean East Asia.
That might be a good place for fallback. Yeah, I assumed that once we got out of Boston that it would come back up at least to some form.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll relay in case it hasn't already been relayed. I'll explain to them what happened in Boston, put it out there for everybody, put everything out there for them to digest, and yeah, I'll just stay on top of it as best I can.
Now, you guys don't necessarily know much about the East, but just to add a little information on top of that, the kindred of the East are different.
Mhm.
They're vampires, but they're different. You guys don't know much about them other than the fact that simply they're different. They don't seem to conform to Camarilla thinking or normal vampire thinking at all. But it is noteworthy that the only region on the planet that's not having at least issues come out of one part of it or another is East Asia. It's completely dark in a way, in that way.
Real quick, they told us where Kane's resting place was, right?
Yep.
Where was that located at actually?
In Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, just couldn't remember. Okay. Yeah, I mean, once we get there, guys, just tell me what you want me to do.
All right. Anybody want to do anything before we land in whatever airport that Congo calls an airport, which I doubt is much of an airport?
Bare field with strips. Yeah, I'm gonna read. Al's gonna be reading the book, about the water temple. See if there's any clues.
Okay.
Of what kind of challenge could be.
This book is a history of what happened after the Book of Nod. It's about talking about the the war with Cain, him trying to end the tyranny that was going on when he returned from his walkabout. A lot of that kind of information, which doesn't really, it's interesting, but it doesn't really help you in that point. The temple locations are talked about. It's talked about why, that the keys were kept there, but it's vague, obviously, for a reason, because this isn't a guidebook to how to unlock Cain. It's simply just an acknowledgement that it took place. Now, there's no particular information directing toward how do we deal with this temple or that temple, obviously. But the Temple of Water, you do know that it was the longest construction. The other temples were only took like a decade or so. This one took nearly 50 years to complete, and that's with vampire power.
Mm-hmm.
So that you don't know what that means, but you know that this was the most involved construction of all 4 temples.
So, guys, here's the question: since we're here about to land in Congo, do we want to actually do the Congo water temple or go to the other?
Well, we're
Temples.
already headed to the water temple. We may as well do that one.
All right. Then we'll move forward ahead.
Well,
Is
you
there
guys,
any way that,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, is there any way that Zero Play can give us any kind of maps of the actual temple layout itself? Is there
No.
any type of...
Well, no, that's a good question, actually. Well, I'll let Plague answer that.
Well, I could see if I could get on the ShrekNet and pull up using the book that we've got. Maybe we could pull something with that. The other thing I could do is I've got drones. I could set the drones up and have them fly in and map it for us, but that would take forever.
At least use them as a lead in to give us a few feet ahead.
Yeah.
What's up there?
I'm trying to think. Can I make a technology roll to
Sure.
see if I can think?
So you can have that. So you can have the storyteller interject. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me get that. We'll stop it. Stop it. My computer's being a butthead. 1 second. All right, there we go. So that'd be intelligence and tech.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. 2 6s, a 7, 2 9s, and 2 10s.
Wow, you guys roll well. The thing that comes to your mind is that you know that there are satellites now that can penetrate the ground. They use them mainly for finding oil, but a lot of archaeological groups are using them to find foundational structures and stuff like that that can't be seen with the eye, that are just below the surface. You know exactly on the map where this is supposed to be, and you could try to hijack one of those.
Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure if we would actually be able to access that, but that's why you ask. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and okay, it's probably gonna take me a little bit to do this, but I'm gonna try and hack a satellite and see if I can get one of those geosurvey satellites to give us the internals on that temple.
Go ahead and give me a roll.
Okay. Computers and see, obviously intelligence computers, right. Or okay.
No, well, actually, this would be under security, I think.
Okay.
But you would certainly get a bonus from your computer, I would assume.
Okie doke.
You have specialization in hacking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just use your hacking specialization, which is under computer, I guess. So go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so
I haven't even looked over at the chat at all. I do apologize, guys. I hope you're enjoying the no mid-air attacks. Hey, I got plenty of time, man. There are 3 more temples. You give me time, right?
Okay. 1 6. 2 7s, a 9, a 10, and a 1.
Okay, well, the one knocks one of the successes off, but with your skill and of course, actually, you're trying to get in, and you have been communicating with Nosferatu on the net, and you this whole time. Of course, there are a few of them you've been communicating with. They know who you are and know what you're doing. Obviously, the Nosferatu know everything. They are
Yeah.
Batman after all, and so they do come in and assist you, and this process takes you about to 45 minutes or so, which is no problem. You guys are, it's middle of the sun, and Sunday, you guys are lethargic, of course. This isn't, you really should be sleeping, but you do have work to do. For all we know, Sienna and Al are sleeping, actually. But you get through this, and you're able to get a view of the area, and you use the processing. It's going to take about 6 hours for that to be processed, though, through a computer. But you have assistant with that, so I would suggest that you get some sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you are protected from the sun, of course, inside this plane. But the daytime, the sun just beats on you, right?
Mhm.
So it's the reason why vampires slumber is not because they're tired per se, but it's because the sun is a bastard. From your
Yeah.
point of view.
So I'll set that up, and then I'm gonna grab one of the I think one of the little nooks that you said they had for us, and I'm passing out.
All right. The night comes, and when you guys wake up,
All
and
over your face.
oh goodness gracious! You guys wake up from your slumber. You come out of your little nooks they have set up for the little cabins they have, and the plane is landed. And you guys, they just been you see the crew moving around. The vampires, of course, that are amongst you start coming out. The girl, the key, is has her own little teeny cabin she kept in, and the crew's paying attention to her and keeping an eye on her and feeding her and all that kind of stuff. She is you can see the door to her cabin is open, and she's just kind of sitting on the bed, dazing into nothingness. She's still in shock. But other than that, you don't see anything. Now, I know Al wanted to do some testing to see if there's any kind of reaction to the temple. Would you like to do that? Al,
Sorry, I didn't catch that. You broke up.
you said that you wanted to test her blood and see if there's any
Yes.
reaction to this temple.
Yes.
Okay. So you go and you test that, and you take a look at it, and it's the activity is probably 10 times the height it was the last time you looked at it. So yes, it is interacting with this temple.
So I relayed my finding to the other guys.
Okay.
So I guess she'll be a key to the temple, and I guess the more we have to go, the more we have to get all the keys until we move on.
So we need to secure her to take her through the temple and keep her in the back with Zero Plague.
You
I'll
guys
take
are
the
going to
front.
bring her into the temple? Really?
Do we
I don't-
need her for a key to get in?
I don't think so. She's the key to
Oh.
Cain's temple, not the key to the water temple.
Oh,
Basically, I don't know. Here's this is just me spitballing. Like I said,
Mhm.
Al, I don't know anything about magic. I don't. Maybe she's not reacting to the temple. Maybe she's reacting to the other key.
Okay, so we can use her blood, the blood that we have right here, to kind of follow the trail to the other key.
That's not a bad
I
idea.
take a pad, like an iPad.
Mhm.
I can't remember. They got the iPad with the armor cases. I hand it to Sienna, and it's got the map that we got downloaded. This is the best I can do. Like I said, you're the expert here. I figured you use this and you lead us through this, and I think, like I said, I'll do the best I can to help out. I've got the drone. I can set it up ahead. It's got infrared, night vision on it.
Can it be equipped with weapons?
No, it's not big enough.
Well, we'll take it as it is and let it lead the way. I'll take point, and Al can be behind me, and you take the rear with the human. And
No, we'll keep
why
the human on the plane.
Why would you bring? What
Yeah,
human are you talking
Yeah,
about?
we're gonna leave
I'm
the
sorry.
human. Yeah, we'll leave human here and have cell phone keep an eye on her.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just the three of you guys, right?
Yeah,
So
I said I'm bringing the sample of blood.
yes,
See if it
yes, yes.
reacts.
All right, so you guys
Yeah.
get yourself set up. You got your drone to give you a forward look. You got your marching order. You have this blood that might be coming handy, and you guys are ready to go. You do know that the crew, and it is nighttime. Of course, you guys waited for nighttime, obviously, and
Mhm.
you know that the crew. You hear that the crew has been trying to deal with the Congolese authority, which basically come down to paying them money. So they're not bothering you guys, but to a point. But you do find out that during the time you're sleeping, they came back twice, and they basically had to throw more money at them to get them to go away. So the
Okay.
Congolese government is not. Well, it is what it is, right? So that's a little bit of a problem, but that's Delilah's responsibility, not yours, right?
Right.
Now, you guys are getting ready to head out, but before we do that, you guys do take some time to look at the this geo scanning that was done by satellite. Now you can't see the entire structure; it goes really deep, but you can see it covers literally a mile in diameter. That's how big this thing is, at least the surface section. Now it's there. You can see the only entry point is what looks like a hill, but it's actually a pyramid that is just so old that it's been covered by sedimentation over the years that it looks like a hill. And there is an entryway you can make out that's on the bottom. You're not exactly sure how you're going to get into it, seeing as it's covered in, oh, I don't know, 10 feet of dirt, maybe 20. This would be issue number one.
Okay. So we gotta find a. We gotta. You got anything that moves dirt, Al?
Mm, let me see. I'm thinking for a moment. Mm,
Because the
We
only
don't.
other thing I can think of is to blow it up, but I don't know anything about explosive and if that's going to collapse the entryway. So what do you think, Sienna?
Yeah, that's the danger if we use explosives. Is there some way we can use technology to find a better way in?
I can. Yeah, I can. Like I said, I can send a drone up, take a look around, and see if I can find another entry point.
You spend some time doing that and you see nothing. And of course, just looking at the schematics you have from the satellite scan, there's nothing. There's
Yeah.
one entrance.
okay, so I go up to the entrance. I see if there's any writings on the entrance.
No, no, you misunderstand. Now you guys move over to the hill. Obviously, you get to the location. There is you pass by some locals, and they kind of look at you cross-eyed, like what, because they don't see a bunch of very pale white vampires walking around very often. Of course, they don't necessarily know you're vampires, but you certainly stand out here. They kind of they're paying attention to you, but you're in a kind of a small village right now
Mm-hmm.
that you pass through. And then once you get past that little village, for the next hour of your travel, because it takes time for you to get there, and you're driving, you're taking the vehicle, I'm assuming, right?
Right.
And you guys, as you come into that area for the next hour of the drive, there's nobody. There's not a human near you, right? You haven't seen anything. Matter of fact, you don't even notice animals running around, right? It is, of course, it's your vampires. Nighttime doesn't matter. You can see just fine. But you do get up to where this entry is supposed to be, and it's just a very large hill. That kind of stands out, actually. There's a bunch of forest around, but the only reason why it doesn't stand out more is because of all the forest. If you remove all the trees, the jungle trees, this would stand out as a pyramid in the middle of a flat plain, right? But it doesn't because of all the tall trees. But the problem is, it's just there's earth between you and the gate, about 20 foot of it,
Um,
dirt.
any of you guys know Protean?
Hmm.
No.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh man. Well, crap, man. I don't know what to do here other than go back and get some freaking shovels or hire, because I don't think we're gonna be able to hire any locals. They hate this place.
Could we dig down into it and at least burrow in?
You could try. You good? You have any tunnel? It's only 20 feet, I guess, but you could try.
I'm going to try it for a minute.
All right. So what do you want to use? Your claws?
Um,
Well, you don't have claws. You're not a gangrel. Your hands?
yeah, use my strength and my athletics to try to dig into it.
Okay. While Sienna is trying to just, manhandle this dirt,
Mhm.
what are you guys doing?
I'm just looking around just to see what can be used. Figure out if there's another way to get in.
Okay, you are in the middle of a
Another expo.
jungle. This vehicle of yours, there was a road that was nearish by. You guys did have to walk about 600-700 yards or so to get to the base of it through the jungle, but no big deal. But it's just a jungle. It's quiet. You don't even hear frogs or insects making noise. It's just dead silent. The trees seem fine. The plant life seems to grow just fine, but you don't hear any kind of life whatsoever, other than the leaves and the boughs of the trees rustling in the wind of the upper canopy. But yeah, you don't see anything at all. Although, give me not Sienna, but Al and Plague. Please give me a perception checks, please.
Okay.
I can add my aspects to that.
Is it on?
Yeah, hidden
Is it? All right.
sense. Yeah,
Well, you kind of have to turn that on,
yeah,
But yeah, sure. I would assume you're in a high tense situation, so of course it would be on.
yeah.
All right, just give me
Perception.
your rolls, please.
5, 6. Okay.
Can you add investigation to that or?
No, you're not
Okay.
investigating. This is pure perception.
No problem. All right, where's my perception?
So I got 1, 10, 9, 3, 2, 5.
I got one success. That was it. I got a 7.
Okay. You Owl catches this a little bit better than you do, Plague, but there is finally something moving in the shadow of the trees. It's making no matter of fact things actually multiple. There's no sound coming out of it. It's silent, but it is whatever these things are. You can see movement.
So I kind of tell Plague if he's nearby. I kind of subtly try to point it out to him. It's like, you see over there what I kind of see?
He does.
Yeah, trying a little bit. You want me to try and see if I can get a picture of it? I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm talking out the side of my mouth. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
Does my character hear any of this?
There is no hearing.
I tap you with my foot.
Sense.
I tap Sienna with my foot, and I kind of point my head over there. It's like, hey, get over there.
Yeah.
Now you're using your drone to try to get a look at this. I'm assuming it was what you meant.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I don't want to fly it over there because it'll probably spook whatever it is. But I can zoom in with it, and it does have night vision.
Sure, you already said that.
Yeah.
You do that, and it seems quite obvious that they know you've noticed them. They know that. Matter of fact, maybe they're even moving in such a way that they're not trying to actually hide from you. But you can make out the form of about 7 very tall, thin werewolves.
Oh
boy.
God.
They're in Garou form, by the way.
Oh no.
Okay, so what do we want to do here, guys? It's well, it is the end of the world. We come in peace, maybe?
Yeah. We come in peace.
And we go in pieces. You know what? Like I said, you guys are Sienna, you guys know more about this than I do. This is your call. You take the lead here.
I'm gonna turn around with my rifle that has a grenade launcher and start with celerity.
No.
No, wait, stop. Wait.
Let's Garu. There's 7
7.
counting them.
Okay.
Okay.
They, let me explain how deadly these werewolves are. They're in Garu form. They rapidly regenerate, and we don't want to deal with 7 of them.
Yeah.
Just
Like
because Sienna doesn't know this game. I mean, Mox
no,
doesn't know this game.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Just to give you your character would know though. Just to give you
Yeah.
information, your character is a fair combatant, for sure. But even if that is a new Garu werewolf sitting in front of you, even if they're brand new baby werewolves, you would have a hard time winning that fight against one of them. Now, if they're not
I'll lower
new,
my gun.
if they're higher level, you have no chance. I mean, they're werewolves. It takes a pack of vampires to take out one werewolf.
I lower my gun when I hear Dinale. Al tell me to chill.
Okay.
So it's like, I guess we apologize for breaching your territories. We are here to try to save the world. Hopefully,
that's what you want to tell them.
yeah.
Okay. I'm right behind you, man.
One of them calls out in a language that sounds familiar, but you don't really speak it. Although Plague, you recognize this language more than the other guys actually. You've heard this before, and it calls out a second time. It's a very short little phrase, but they repeat it, or one of them repeats it.
Okay. What do I got here? Can you give me like a phonetic of it? I mean, like what's
It sounds like German.
okay. I'm gonna pull up. I'm assuming. Well, no, the internet's down, so I'm gonna. All right,
The ShrekNet is up, dude, and it's
oh yeah, right.
from your point of view, that's good enough.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try and pull up like a translator program and set it to German.
Okay. They say it again. You catch it and you translate it. It's not. It doesn't want to translate it perfectly, but it basically the gist of what you're getting is what they're saying is, are you with the Magi or against?
We
I'll
were.
I'll yell out in English
Mm-hmm.
with, and then I'm gonna pull up the German word for with, and I'll repeat that.
All right. One of them calls back in English. It's not great English though, but they say, "Has the Boston Chantry sent you?"
We came from the Boston Chantry.
What's left of it?
Yeah.
Well, with that, you see them come out into the light, as it were, from the forest, and they're standing in front of. These are tall. These things are nearly 8 foot tall, all of them, and you recognize them. Dinale knows exactly what it is, but you recognize them because you saw one walking around the chantry. It's a silent strider. They're solid black fur, tall, thin werewolves. Now, Dinale, you know that the silent striders are the more enlightened, kind of educated, mystical type of werewolf. They're not like the Loop Guru or Bone Nords or something like that. That would just rather
Yeah,
eat you than talk to you. These guys are the
right,
kind of mystical, spiritual type of werewolf, and you
right,
know that they have close ties to the Magi because these guys are magical themselves. And like I
right.
said, you saw one walking around the chantry. So you have 7 silent striders standing in front of you. They have various armbands, marks, daggers. They're kitted out. They're not just furry werewolves. These guys are, they're sophisticated things. Go ahead, Al.
Right. We come from the chantry from.
Do we
Oh,
do we lose Denali?
uh,
Oh, he roboted out.
Attacked by the judges. Test, test.
Oh yeah, we heard the last end of it. Okay, say it again.
I was saying, we're from Boston, the Boston Channery. We're here to find the Water Temple key. We have already found the Earth Temple key, and we're trying to stop Gehenna from occurring for this cycle. Will you
Uh,
aid us in our quest?
One of them says to you that in his broken English that he was communicated to come down and be of assistance. He said that all the key locations have groups that are heading over to try to help you out, and that's why they were sent here. So they are at your call.
All right. So I kind of point out to them, you know, patiently that we have the entrance, and the entrance is 20 feet below us, and we can't get to it.
They understand what you're saying, and immediately they get to work, and the dirt begins to fly.
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
so many jokes in my brain, but I'm not going to say a single one because I don't want to die.
Well, you should be rather terrified the fact that I just gave you 7 silent striders.
Yeah, I
This
know.
should be terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Oh
my
boy.
god. So
It's not.
actually while they're doing that, I do want to have get everybody together,
Yes.
and I'm actually going to go over that very moment thing is like, oh my god, dude. That's like death walking on 2 legs over there.
Yeah, these guys are particularly dangerous. Not only are they werewolves that have the full capability of a werewolf, they also have magical abilities. They have all those daggers and those things that are hanging off the belts and bandoliers and stuff are certainly all magical. These guys are, I think, the most dangerous. The spiral dancers, because they're tainted by the worm, certainly are a major threat. But I think the silent striders are actually the most absolute dangerous werewolf in the world of darkness.
Oh boy.
So just an observation, guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's 7 of those things, and he said and from what he said, there's more coming.
No, he didn't.
And oh, I thought he said that there were others in the area.
No, he said that each of the key locations there have been
Oh,
help.
okay.
There's help sent. There's groups sent to help you. You have
Okay.
help. These are the ones that were sent here. Now, do keep in mind that by this point, you guys haven't had any information of any other city falling. The world seems to be aware of something going on, for sure. Certain areas more than others, but it's obviously in the supernatural world that you guys are part of. Everybody knows what's going on. They're quite well
Mhm.
aware, and it doesn't matter. It's not just vampires; it's everybody. So their ass is on the line just as much as your is. So of course, my enemy, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Right.
And the Silent Striders are more cerebral anyway, which makes a lot of sense that they would be the ones helping. The Loop Guru they don't care, right? But these guys do. So everyone knows what's going on, and even though the Camarilla are probably leading the way in their way, and there might be other groups that are assisting the Camarilla, there are some. This Plan B, it's not a bad plan. So
Yeah.
there's certain contingent that will certainly help you out with that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one thing I'd like to point out as an observation, guys. There's 7 of these dudes, and they did not go into this place.
No, they
So,
didn't.
so either they know that there's something really bad in here, or they think there's something really bad in here.
Well, I
We,
mean, it's a
we,
fair a supposition, I guess. But from reading the book, which you guys have, you don't think anybody knows anything about this beyond your little group, really?
Well, I think
Because
I mean just the fact that they avoid this place.
well, they're not locals, dude. They're Germans.
Okay, okay. Oh, that's yeah. You're right. I'm sorry. I made a judgment here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, no problem. Now they were using an older form of German, but they're German. Yeah, these are 7 Germans, German silent striders. Yeah,
Okay.
they came down to help whoever showed up. They just were being cautious because they don't know if you're the people they assume you must be, which is why
Mhm.
they didn't attack you vampires on sight. But they assumed you were, but they were just being cautious, right?
Okay.
Right.
All right. Then strike what I just said. Then, but okay. So we just wait for them to dig it out, and then we continue on.
Okay. While they're digging, and they're making good progress. I mean, of course, 7 of werewolves would make pretty good short work of 20 foot of dirt. And they're getting on. I'd say it's only been 20 minutes, and they're starting to scratch out the doorway, actually. But while they're getting the last bit of dirt out and getting that entrance, and they kind of like took the side of the more than they had to, actually. But then Sienna might well be helping them or not. I don't know. But while that's going on, you get a call from the plane.
Well, what's up?
They say that they just gotten news that Boston has not fallen.
Oh, good. The chantry's still there.
They're not sure. The information was this is Delilah talking to you. The information was kind of vague, but it seems that Delilah here is one talking to you. It seems that they were successful in shunting the loci.
Oh, okay. So even though the chantry was lost, they weren't able to use it to open the door like they wanted to.
Mm.
Or am I getting that right, Al?
Yeah. So the
Okay.
gateway has been closed, but doesn't mean the chantry hasn't been lost.
I wouldn't tell them where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we might be
Delilah
talking to somebody
understands.
else.
Yeah. She says that she hasn't gotten any information, particularly from the Chantry itself. This information is coming in from the Nosferatu, but they seem to have been successful. She does note
Okay.
that they still have no communication from Constantinople at all, which is worrying because Constantinople is the actual major loci of this current age. In the past, it would have been Luxor. But in this modern time, Constantinople is the major loci, and there's no communication at all coming out of there.
Yeah, that's something we might have to deal with at some point.
Mm. But you guys, after that little bit of conversation, the Silent Striders have opened the door. They haven't opened the door, but the door is clear. Now, what you see is a large door, and it's probably standing about, well, I don't know, 10 foot tall, I'd say. And it's as you're looking at it, it's made of a weird material. You actually go over and you touch it, and it's like a greenish white, like a pale jade almost. You're not. It might even be jade. You're not quite sure, but it's an odd looking door. And on it it's covered in hieroglyphics. Now, you don't have anybody here that can read those hieroglyphics or even know what language that is. Uh, but it's an interesting looking door with a bunch of symbols and runes upon it. And what do you want to do?
I'm gonna take a picture of it to start with.
Yeah.
Any ideas, guys? See, can we see like an obvious seam?
There are runes that seem to be, it's very artistic, but I don't know. Does anyone here have any history at all on their character? I know you
I
got
have
occult. That might be a little helpful.
Yeah.
But
I have
Yeah, I have
science.
no. Any
I have
history?
academics.
No.
Yeah, I have academics as well
This would be
too.
history specific. I guess I could give you an occult roll, but
Mhm.
it's got to be very thin information, even if you succeed.
All right.
Could I investigate it to see if there are any types of channels where there's like a continuous flow of lines and alleyways in the carving?
Well, you notice that actually, that's a very good point you make, because every bit of script and design on this door seems to be a single line. Matter of fact, what's the nationality or the ancestry of your characters? Plague. What's your race of what's Plague's
Uh,
race?
he's just typical American. He's a mutt.
Sienna, you're some kind of
Uh,
Italian or something, right?
she's something. I don't really know. I never
Well,
gave it in.
the name itself says that she's more of a
The,
Latin. What about
actually,
Alm?
the
Hmm?
actually the Sienna part was from the Sienna Mountains,
Oh, I
so
get it.
she is kind of.
Okay.
Uh,
Al, what about your character?
My character is more Northern European, Morgan.
You do feel a little bit of the now I know the people these days like to use the word Celtic to cover all the Northern Europeans, but it's actually more Irish. But I guess that doesn't matter. It does
Mm,
seem a little Irish naughty,
Okay, so it's a knot.
a little bit, but it is a single that because he mentioned it because or she mentioned it, Sienna mentioned it. It is a single line. Everything on that door is actually one line. It's complicated, but once you look at it like that, you realize that is exactly what it is. It is a continuous line,
Is it like a Yiddish knot where it tells different stories based on what the knots is?
seemingly.
So I talk to Plague and say, Plague, we need to see Yiddish or I guess Irish knots, that type of language.
Oh, so you want like old Irish, like ancient Irish?
Yeah, ancient Irish knots, language told in knots.
It actually is
Okay.
a language. Yeah.
Yeah,
I will pull up. I will pull that up off of my pad and hand it to Al because I don't know
all right,
what I'm looking at.
all right. So can I do a Italians plus academic role to locate exactly what I'm trying to look for
Oh no,
through the
no need, no need.
yeah, no need.
You
Okay.
go through, you look at a bunch of stuff, you take some time with it, and although everyone can now clearly see that there's obviously some kind of relationship between the two. There's nothing to help you with it at all. This is way older.
Mm-hmm.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Now you said that this was all like one continuous, like it was all one continuous line.
yeah, but it's extremely elaborate though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said,
There,
it's got runic information, it's got imagery, but that's obviously the tapestry of this knot is trying to you can recognize it's trying to tell you a story. You can see that.
you got the blood with you.
Yeah, I still have the blood.
Just take it out and see if it's doing anything weird.
Okay, so I take out the blood and kind of bring it near the tube near to it to see if there's any reaction.
The blood is the same level of activity as you'd seen before.
Okay.
Okay. There are no obvious seams for this door? Like we can like grab it and try to force it open.
Nope, it's really weird. It is set because they were able to clear a little bit around the door, and you guys can do a little bit more if you wanted as well. It
Mm-hmm.
seems that the stone on the framing of the door is like a type of granite. This door itself, like I said, it's some like weird white green jade something. It's very cool to
Right.
the touch, by the way. But you don't know exactly what it is. There's no geologist here, but it's a weird. It's
Uh,
not normal.
Mm-hmm.
um,
I'm gonna ask the
There,
werewolves. Oh, go ahead, man. Sorry.
is there enough blood to drop a single drop into the rune?
I suspect so. Yeah. So I would do that. Just put like a drop on the rune to see if there's any reaction.
Start at the very top of the line. Maybe they'll trace
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
I asked the Silent
Silent
Striders.
Striders. Yeah.
Do you guys have any idea what we're looking at here?
They understand as much as you that it certainly looks Celtic. That's about it though.
Mhm.
Now they did do a few things. They while you guys were talking and while they were digging it out, they did glowing hand something or another here or there. So you're assuming they cast some kind of spell, but they have nothing.
Okay. Well, it's the Temple of Water. Maybe pour some water on it.
There is a
Yeah.
running creek not too far away from you. You guys can hear it. So
So Al would take the moment to collect some water and come back and test it out.
okay, it's cleaner and easier to see now.
Okay. Um,
What
Okay.
nationality is the woman that we have as the key?
well, she's like Neanderthal, so who knows? She's a lot closer to the original humans than anything else.
And this is older than the Celtic stuff that we looked up. Maybe she speaks the language.
All right. Well, I mean, we could bring her here, and maybe
Well,
if nothing else.
No. Take a picture on your tablet.
Oh.
And send it to the plane and have them ask her.
That's a good idea. All right, I'm gonna send it to cell phone and tell him, listen, show this to her, see if she recognizes the writing, and yeah.
Okay. It took you guys long enough, but I'm sitting here patiently waiting. But yeah, no. Actually, he comes back very quickly with a video call to you. He's saying she's
Okay.
very agitated.
What's she saying?
She's not answering questions or talking directly, but she is, of course, the polyglot spell is going on, and she's saying the key to the demon lies before thee.
Okay. You need to bring her here. So yeah, get in one of the other vehicles and bring her here.
Okay. I don't know
No,
why.
wait.
What do you need to bring her
No,
here
no.
for? I don't understand.
Well,
No.
wait. Well, wait. Okay.
No, wait.
She is not a key to a key. She's not.
No.
It's not work like that.
But she's refusing to tell us what it says, though, right?
She didn't refuse. You didn't ask her anything. He's just
Oh,
showing
yeah,
you what she's rapping along to. You haven't spoken to her. You haven't said a word to her, dude. I just turned on the camera and showed what she was saying. You haven't talked to her.
Oh, okay. I asked him this. Okay, I understand now. Tell her to tell you what it says.
Oh, well, she's on the camera. You can talk to her. It's like a Skype
Okay.
call.
Okay. Well then, because I thought she was being, I thought she was like refusing to talk or anything. All right, I'll ask her. What does it say?
She says that it is the basically goes through and says this is a key to the unlocking the demon lies below. Beware anyone who dare to take it, for thy generations shall be cursed 1,000-fold. Yada yada yada. She goes through. It's actually an incantation. This is a spell. That's on this door to lock it. And she says that the old masters used this to keep places safe when they didn't want others getting into them. It's a seal, a ward.
Okay, so we need to dispel it.
Mm.
I turn around and I look at at Al. What's up, man?
Now that magic figure, I look at the werewolves and say that's an incantation. Are you guys able to dispel it?
They chatter to themselves in German, and one of them says possibly. And you see the one who says possibly kind of takes a step sideways. He literally looks like he's disappearing into the fabric of space. as he steps sideways, literally. And this other Striders, these Striders are a bit weird. You guys haven't really had many interactions with werewolves, although you've seen them sometimes at a distance or something. And they're human. These guys are weird and quiet, and they're just weird. Silent Striders are odd. And but After a little bit, the other ones don't say anything. They just stand there quietly. But Within 5 minutes or so, he steps back. And he is holding in his hand, which seems to be a piece of circular wood with a whole bunch of runic language written on top of it. He hands it to one of the other Striders. The Strider walks up to the door and he's chanting as he approaches the door. He takes that wood, he puts it on his hand on it, and lies it up against the door, and he starts chanting. And The wood erupts into fire, and it leaps across the whole door as the guy steps back. The silent starter steps back, and as the fire starts going, it becomes blue, and then it becomes green, and then it becomes this deep, deep red, an unnatural red for a fire, and it just disappears. And as that happens, the door itself splits down the middle. You didn't see any scenes before, but it splits down the middle, and it falls in, and then opens to the side. In front of you is a 10 by 12, I'd say, gaping maw into utter darkness.
Well, shit. This is why I don't do magic stuff. What do you guys think?
Is there any chance we can get the wolves to go in front and go with us?
They're here to help you.
Yep. Then into the belly of the beast, so to speak.
Into the belly of the beast. All right. Perfect timing, guys. That was exactly what I wanted to happen today. We're going to end here, and next week we're going to come in and we're going to be entering into the water temple, and it's going to take the entire show to these guys get through the temple because, as you've noticed, I've been doing different kinds of gameplay here. Next week is going to be a dungeon delve, good old fashioned dungeon delve. I hope you guys are ready and get yourself strapped in for that. I'm sure Plague will do very well in this situation. I'm sure. But yeah, we're about there. You are well armed out though. You have a really good weapon, Plague. You guys are going to do a dungeon delve next week with all the cool things that come with that, including traps, puzzles, all that kind of stuff. We're going to do a good old fashioned D&D type of style night next week. And I think we'll probably go a little long next week. I have a feeling. At least I've scheduled myself a little bit long for next week. We'll see what these guys do. Who knows? They might approach it in the most intelligent and awesome way possible and just blow us all away with their absolute geniusness.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
I'm sorry. You're being serious. Okay.
I will. Yeah.
Nah.
All right. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Are you enjoying the story? What did you think about where we've gotten to so far?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm sorry if I know I cut in over top of people a couple of times. I apologize for that, guys.
Oh, that's all right, dude.
Okay.
Dillard is trying to correct me. You said you mean dungeon crawl. Well, dungeon delve, dungeon crawl, whatever. I see France. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, no.
Well.
I want each of the temples to be very different. The first one was really just kind of it's really just an introduction to the temples. I didn't go so elaborate with this, but next week could be much more old-fashioned type of role-playing game run, which I'm sure will make Sienna happy because Mox is more of a D&D guy. I'm assuming, yeah.
Oh, you could say that.
Yeah. I know I am, but I love Vampire. I ran Vampire for years and years. Yeah, the water temple is going to be interesting. A little bit of delve, and I've made it. The reason I decided to go with that is because it isn't necessarily just raw combat. You're going to have to use your heads, you know. But you do have 7 silent striders with you to help with whatever you run into. So 10 people, a 10 people delve, basically.
Yep. 7 meat shields. That's awesome.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have any questions for me or to the chat or anything like that before we get out of here?
It's nice of Dillard to show up, John Dillard to show up.
Yeah, sure. It's always nice when John shows up.
Right at the very end.
He timed it perfectly.
He did. Yeah. And it's cool, we're having fun with it. I'm enjoying doing this kind of show. I don't get to role play very much, so I'm having a lot of fun with it. I am surprised how many people hang in here with us though, which is cool. So chat, what do you guys think? Are you enjoying the story so far of Gehenna Rising? Is this fun? You guys hang around, which is really cool. Any opinions from the chat? Any suggestions, even?
Eagle is a Nosferatu fan, apparently.
Eagle, want to join us and play a Nosferatu?
You could.
Yeah, we seem to be down one because he got his arm chopped off and turned into a friggin' door bomb.
Yes, you did. You lost Rhaegar. Poor Rhaegar. He was such a nice fella, but he's gone. Yeah, no, Eagle, if you want to jump in and grab a character and be part of it, be happy to have you, dude. We are one person down. You guys haven't noticed. I really initially when I was developing this game, this campaign, I was really looking at a 4-member team. So we're down to 3. Of course, I can adjust it on the fly. It's not that big a deal, but it would be nice if I had a 4th, actually. That is kind of the standard, anybody else got any comments or things they want to say or anything from the chat? More Dinale, less Chester. All right. Thank you, John. No problem.
Actually, Denali's better equipped for what's coming than I am, man. He's a magic user.
Yeah.
It is. Like I said, this is set up. It's going to be fun because it's going to be a very standard delve, but it's also as with everything we've done so far, we're doing a lot of storytelling, right? This isn't all just hack and slash, but it's also going to give you a lot better and a lot more development of who the antediluvian are. The next week we'll delve into that a lot, I think.
Oh yeah, no, and and I'm cool with that, man. I'm cool with sometimes you just ain't the person for the situation.
You've been very helpful so far. I don't know why you say that.
I'm just saying like sometimes it's sometimes you gotta play outside your wheelhouse.
You do. And like I said, this is season 1. Obviously, we're doing with Rise of Gehenna, and unless you guys die, which is certainly possible, if you're successful in your endeavors and people like it, you guys are enjoying it, we could do a season 2, and of course that would be more than likely back in Boston, and we have could be a completely different campaign, right?
Cool.
If we succeed, but that's something to look forward to on our way to damnation. Boop, boom,
I'm ready to watch. I'm ready to watch Sienna stack up some bodies.
Yeah, no, that's going to happen, I'm sure. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We are trying our best to keep these things to 2 hours tight, which is a little bit difficult to do when you're role playing, actually, because usually we're looking at 4 hours or so, or really is what you want to do. But we are trying to keep 2 hours tight. Next week, I have a feeling it's going to go long, though. So you guys prepare for a longer session next week. I certainly already have. So next week will probably be a little bit longer, but nevertheless, we love the fact that you guys come in here and join us. It's awesome, and we got all kind of things going on here this week. We got some guests, we got some cool stuff, but I'm going to let Dinale take us out with that information as he always does.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for Bugbear's Basement on Gehenna Rising. Join us next week for the next game session at 8 p.m. Eastern, same day, Tuesday. Tomorrow is Comics News Today at 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by at Blacklist University Drawn and Quarter Pro Edition. Thursday is Comics News Today at 8 p.m., followed by the fan edition of Drawn and Quarter, where we'll be drawing Manny's The Unbreathable Skunk Girl. So congratulations, Manny, on meeting your goal.
Yeah, that's
almost
awesome.
a day.
Yeah. And after this stream's done, guys, if you want to, you can get over to E. Ortiz's channel. I think Manny's going to be there. They're going to be pushing some more Skunk Girl over there and just generally hanging out.
Oh man, I wish I could, dude. That's the problem with my job. I can't do those extracurricular things, man. It sucks.
You're one of those guys that has one of those jobs.
Yeah, I know, right?
Man, those jobs sucks.
Yeah.
But as always, your perception shapes your reality, so always make it a good one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Later, guys.
Aloha.